Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a pretty dark place, I guess you could say.
Definitely dark.
Clive Barker's Books of Blood, specifically volumes 1 to 3. Groundbreaking horror.
Absolutely. Landmark stuff.
And our mission really is to unpack why. What makes these stories so special, so much more than just, typical horror tropes. Why are they still talked about, studied even?
Well, you got to start with a famous quote, right?
Oh, yeah. Stephen King. He said, I have seen the future of horror, and its name is Clive Barker.
Exactly. I mean, coming from King, that's huge. It tells you something really different was happening here.
It really does. So let's get into it. Published 84, 85.
Yep, right in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one book, but these collections. 16 stories total across the first 3, plus this really interesting frame narrative that ties it all together conceptually.
16 distinct stories. So
Yeah.
what connects them? Is it just Barker's style or?
It's his style for sure, but also his gaze, his unflinching look at things, fear, obviously, but also the body, how it changes, transforms, sometimes horribly.
Right, body horror is a big part of it.
Huge. But also guilt, revenge, even this kind of cosmic dread. It's visceral, imaginative, but also really, really philosophical at times.
So not just monsters jumping out, but deeper fears. And you said it's not one long story.
No, each story stands alone. You get these different flavors of horror. Sometimes it's gritty urban stuff set right in the city.
Yeah.
Other times it's almost mythological or full-on fantasy horror.
Yeah.
And definitely body horror, like we said, but also psychological, philosophical dread. It's a real mix.
What holds it all together then, structure-wise?
Well, there's that frame narrative, the Book of Blood. It's
Yeah.
a creepy idea. It sets up this concept that the dead can, literally write their stories onto the skin of this fake psychic.
Whoa. Okay, that's memorable.
It is. It sort of establishes this idea that horror, these stories, are written in us, in our flesh.
That's a really potent image. Okay, let's talk about some of the actual stories, because that's where you see the genius, right? What are some standouts for you?
Oh, definitely got to start with The Midnight Meat Train, Volume 1.
Classic. Urban horror at its finest, maybe.
Totally. It's set in the New York subway. This guy uncovers this, hidden world beneath the city, ghouls harvesting bodies. It's about dehumanization, class, consumption.
And that ending is just... It's completely surreal. It stays with you.
It really does. It takes this gritty setup and just twists it into something nightmarish and weirdly profound.
Okay, what else from Volume 1? In the Hills, the Cities. That one blew my mind. The sheer concept.
Oh, yeah. That's pure Barker imagination right there. 2 whole cities, their populations tied together to form these giant walking figures, these colossi.
It sounds almost absurd when you say it like that, but reading it, it's terrifying. How does he make that work?
Well, I think it works because it becomes this huge, insane metaphor for, nationalism, collective identity, group madness.
Right, the horror of losing yourself in the crowd, taken to this extreme.
Exactly. He takes this fantastical idea and somehow grounds it in a really chilling human truth about conflict and unity.
So that's the grand scale. What about something more internal, like Dread from Volume 2?
Dread is just chilling. Pure psychological horror. It's about this college student who gets obsessed with understanding fear, true dread.
Obsessed how?
Academically at first, but then it spirals. He starts wanting to inflict it, to study it by creating it in others.
Okay, that's dark.
It really is. It blurs that line between philosophical curiosity and just straight up sadism. It messes with your head because it's about the fear inside us, not just monsters outside.
And speaking of monsters, there's Rawhead Rex in Volume 3, more of a straight-up creature feature almost.
Yeah, you could say that. It's Barker doing a more primal monster story. This ancient pagan god thing gets loose in the English countryside.
That one got a film adaptation too, didn't it? Kind of a cult classic.
Oh, it did, yeah. The story itself is just raw power, visceral, violent, with these religious undertones. It's about the return of something ancient and terrifying that civilization thought it buried.
Is it as deep as something like Dread, though? Or is it more about the thrill?
It's maybe less overtly philosophical, sure.
Yeah.
But its power is in that primal fear, that idea of forgotten forces erupting. It taps into something really deep-seated.
Okay, makes sense. And then there's the really weird stuff like a Son of Celluloid?
Oh man, Son of Celluloid, that's pure Barker weirdness, but beautiful in a way. It's about a cancerous tumor.
Right.
Yeah, haunted by the spirit of a dying man. And it's growing in a movie theater and starts taking the form of old Hollywood stars. I
What?
know, it sounds bizarre, but it becomes this strange poetic meditation on, like, fame, decay, illusion, the body breaking down versus the images on screen. It's really unique.
Okay, Barker's range is just incredible. We should probably give a quick mention to Pig Blood Blues, too, from Volume 1.
Good call. Yeah, that was unsettling in a different way. A former cop at a reform school, uncovering secrets about a monstrous pig and sacrifice.
Themes of corruption, looking the other way.
Exactly. Institutional horror, guilt. Really chilling stuff.
So, looking across all these different stories, urban, mythic, psychological, body horror, you start to see patterns, right? These recurring ideas Barker keeps exploring.
Absolutely. It's not just random horror tales. There are these core themes running through almost everything.
Like the body. We keep coming back to that.
Definitely. The body is a canvas. That's central to Barker. His horror is so physical. Bodies change. They burst. They're invaded. They mutate.
And it's not just about pain, is it? There's this weird blurring of pain and pleasure sometimes.
Right. Pain, pleasure, fear. They get tangled up. And unlike maybe some other horror where the body is just damaged, here it feels like the body is telling the story. The
Yeah.
transformations mean something.
Yeah, it's like the internal state made external, but in the most extreme way possible. It really was revolutionary compared to a lot of horror back then.
It absolutely was. It made the gore feel, well, almost philosophical, disturbing, but thoughtful.
And connected to that is desire, right? The forbidden stuff.
Oh, yeah. Desire and the forbidden. That's huge in Barker. Sexuality, taboo urges, things people repress. That's often the engine of the horror. He puts eroticism and violence right next to each other, which could be really confronting.
Makes you question boundaries.
Totally. And then there's the setting. You mentioned the urban horror.
Yeah, a lot of it feels very grounded in these gritty, real places.
That's the urban isolation and alienation theme. Horror isn't just in some spooky castle. It's seeping out of the cracks in the city, in the apartment building next door. It taps into modern anxieties about being alone in a crowd.
Which can lead to that deeper, almost cosmic fear.
Exactly. The existential horror. The fear that maybe there's no meaning or that the universe is cruel or just indifferent. You see that in Hills, the cities, that sense of overwhelming, unknowable forces.
Or even Midnight Meat Train, the inevitability of it.
Right. It's facing something bigger and scarier than just a monster.
And one more big one seems to be justice. Or maybe revenge.
Yes. Justice and vengeance. Often it's like karma, but Barker's version is usually way harsher than you'd expect.
Right.
Retribution comes, but it's brutal, revealing the darkness in people and the consequences.
So these big themes weave through, but it's also how he writes, isn't it? His actual prose style.
Oh, absolutely. That's what elevates it for me, often. His writing is so rich, so literary. It's not typical genre prose a lot of the time.
Like very evocative.
Incredibly evocative. Dense, painterly descriptions. He finds this like grotesque beauty in horrible things. He uses metaphors that are both disgusting and poetic. Flesh blooming like some monstrous orchid, things like that.
Wow. So it's beautiful and repulsive at the same time.
Exactly. He doesn't shy away from the graphic stuff, violence, sex, weirdness. But it feels like it has purpose. It serves the story and the themes, delivered in this really striking language.
It forces you to engage with it on an artistic level, not just react with disgust.
Right. But, okay, let's be real. This stuff is intense. It's not going to be for everyone.
Definitely not. What are the main things people should be aware of? The criticisms, maybe?
Well, number one is the graphic content. We've talked about it, but it bears repeating. These stories are violent, they are sexual, they are deeply disturbing. Seriously, not for the faint of heart.
You have to be prepared for that level of intensity. It's not just jump scares.
No. And it demands something from you as a reader, I think. You have to be willing to confront that darkness, not just be shocked by it.
I'm sense. What else?
Some might find the philosophical overload a bit much. You know, the deep symbolism, the existential questions. If you just want a straightforward, scary story, this might feel too heavy or abstract sometimes.
Okay, fair enough.
And finally, maybe the lack of resolution in some stories. Barker sometimes ends things abruptly, leaves questions hanging. He creates this lingering unease, which is probably intentional.
But could be frustrating if you like everything wrapped up neatly.
Exactly.
Right.
Some readers might find that unsatisfying.
All good points to consider. But even with those caveats, the impact these books had, it's huge.
Undeniable. Books of Blood basically put Clive Barker on the map.
Yeah.
Launched him into the horror stratosphere. They're still seen as this major landmark collection.
Yeah, people still study them.
They do. And they
Brilliant.
inspired films, comics, that Hulu series recently. Barker basically showed horror could be more than it was. He mixed in mythology, surrealism, deep psychology. He wasn't just a horror writer, he was seen as a visionary.
He expanded the playground, basically.
Totally. Opened up new possibilities for the genre.
And that quote you mentioned earlier from the Frame story seems to capture it all.
The one from the Book of Blood.
Yeah.
Everybody's a book of blood. Wherever we're opened, we're read.
It's so visceral, so personal, like the horror, the truth, it's right there inside us.
Perfectly sums up his whole approach, I think.
So, final thoughts on who should actually pick these up. Who is this for?
Okay, well, obviously, horror fans who want something more than the usual cliches, something that goes deeper than jump scares.
People looking for that literary edge in horror.
Yeah, definitely. If you like writers who push boundaries of Lovecraft, maybe Poe, even King and his more ambitious stuff, Barker fits right in. And honestly, anyone fascinated by the darker side of psychology, desire, fear, and who isn't afraid to confront some pretty uncomfortable stuff.
It requires a certain willingness to go there.
It does.
So our final verdict, I mean, it sounds like a
It
masterclass.
really is. A masterclass in horror storytelling.
Yeah.
Visceral, yes. Wildly imaginative, definitely disturbing, but also surprisingly deep. Smart.
Barker goes places other writers just don't.
He really does. Into desire, dread, the body. It's horror with, like you said earlier, heart, intellect, maybe even a dark kind of soul. It sticks with you.
Absolutely. Essential reading if you're serious about horror.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, that wraps up our deep dive into Clive Barker's Books of Blood, volumes 1 to 3. We've touched on the gore, the philosophy, the humanity, that unique mix that just redefined horror.
It really did.
And as a final thought for you, the listener, to take away, consider this. Barker's way of looking unflinchingly at fear, at desire, at how vulnerable our bodies are. What uncomfortable truths might that reveal about your own hidden self? Or even about the world we live in.
Something to chew on, for sure.
Definitely. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel and video. We appreciate the support.